This is Rebirth the Legend here with another replay analysis when you're looking at an Ember Spirit game for our friend Hopeless here. As a warning, I do not play Ember Spirit really ever. I had like my first game yesterday because I was pulling a friend out of low priority, and those are all done in single draft, so didn't really have a choice. My other heroes sucked. Anyway, enough about me. So what I think I'll mainly be able to comment here on is general, I'd say, decision making, gameplay, and to a degree maybe some itemization. I know generally how the hero is played, but I haven't played anywhere near enough matches to have like a consensus. And he's a very, very high skill cap hero, so having no real experience on it, I only have experience really playing against it, and I have a couple of friends who play it. Like our mid plays Ember, so I don't have to. Cause fuck Ember Spirit. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Are you going mid here? I wouldn't think you should be going mid here. Like if you look at this, you're going to be against probably a Pudge or maybe a Bloodseeker. I would think you should be against a Bloodseeker, but it looks like he'll probably jungle. But they chose not to do that. Oh no, Lina should. Okay, this makes minimal sense. So, like, you shouldn't be mid, okay? So you're like the team's only real carry. I mean, you could argue that Lina's a carry. But your Lina should be playing mid, and you should be in the safe lane farming. Like, Lina's what's going to pull you in through the mid game. Putting you mid's going to limit your farm and limit your experience. So that's something you should try and call. I know you said you're only friends with the Bane. Oh, that's rough. Looks like you're going to live here, actually. You know they have hook. You need to dodge the next hook, which should be up soon. Oh, clear. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Too expensive. Yeah, so like you shouldn't have even been here for this, honestly. You should really be in bottom lane. Like you want the safe farm. You can contribute with like a Rubik and like a Dazzle or whatever supporting it. Oh wait, it's offline. Okay, it's an offline Bane. All right, I can get on board with that. It's not the dumbest thing in the world. Fuck, Zai ran on secret. It can't be that bad, right? It might have been in Captain's Draft though. Yeah, so I really don't agree with you trying to go middle. I think you could have gotten a lot more out of a safe line, even if it is a 2v2. That's a Dusa Omni. Yeah, I don't think you'll struggle against that lane too badly. And Alino should slaughter him. He can dispel your shield like pretty instantly early on. Later on, it might be a problem for him, but like once he has his ult, it'll also negate it. I guess you could say he can't kill you either, though. But yeah, when you look at this game, like the one thing you have to be worried about is hook into Dismember. If you're really quick with your activate Remnant and you always have Remnants up, you shouldn't really ever die. Unless you eat an arrow. Like, you're gonna die from eating an arrow or getting dismembered into Bloodseeker Silence. Only ways you die. Like, this is a great game. This is an excellent game where, like, if you're like a one of those like crazy mobility heroes like Storm, Ember, Anti-Mage, Quap, like you should have a real hard time dying. And like when you're in a situation like that, the game is usually pretty much in your control. What I'd say though is if it goes super late, you are against a Dusa, so I wouldn't be that comfortable. You can like, actually, you know, Bane's probably a really good counter to her because his ult removes a percentage of mana. So if that Bane ever gets an Axe and just ults her, she'll lose like 70% of her mana, which is kind of a lot. Just a side thought. So we're creeping pretty okay. The Pudge is just fucking left. It's been gone for like, I think like 30 seconds. Take a bottom to throw hooks or something. You have to be aware of this stuff. I know it's tough, like, and particularly since that person came from top. But I think you see her too. Like, you have the ward here, so you can't get caught by that. I think she threw it and then walked up. So like, you have to be like really aware of this, particularly like as a mid. Like, you have to be aware of your surroundings. Like, you have these two wards up for your team. Your team is dedicating both of their wards early on to making sure you don't get hit by arrows and die. And then it's on you to be aware enough to like not let that happen now, right? Because like that's the only way you should be dying right now. He doesn't have dismember yet. You're like a level ahead of this guy because you left to go bottom for like a minute, which is awesome for you. And all you have to do is avoid this arrow. That's your biggest objective right now. You avoid arrows and you get farm. They have both the wards there, so that's like a huge problem. That just comes down to map awareness. So like, obviously no one's immune to that. I just want to drive home like, that's something you can just look at and just be like, I need better map awareness. Like, it happens to everyone. Like, it happens to me all the time too. A friend, they had a ward for me up here. I was an AM. I like blinked forward on a Dark Seer when a Venge was right there, and I just didn't notice the Venge. Like, everyone has those momentary lapses. But like, at the end of the day, it's still your fault for that lapse. You shouldn't be here, I don't think. Yeah, like, the Bane's already out. Okay, that's not worth it. Like, the Bane's already out. Okay, we're gonna look at this again, because I believe this is a mistake. I always emphasize trying to play it safe, like, when in doubt. He hit an arrow. If he dies, like, whatever. You get him out here. You walk over, you turn, you chains. Like, keep in mind, you're in a 2v1 here. You eat the hook, which is pure damage, so it goes through your shield, and they can just right-click you down from there. So you don't have boots, and I think he does. Yeah. So that's what happens. And you just get right-clicked. Like, he was already out. He nightmared the Pudge. He nightmared the Pudge and then, like, walked away. Ate the arrow. Nightmares the Pudge. Walks away. He's pretty much good right now. And because you stand there, like, this is such an easy hook for him to hit, because you only have 2 ways to really go. Like, your juke area is very small, so, like, the odds of you being able to, like, the odds of you being able to dodge that are just very low. Man, player perspective right now? Should be. I guess you're clicking him. Yeah, so you just have to be more careful, because now, okay, now their 2 kills are on the mid. I know you said he had a rocky start, but I think it's important to address the rocky start, and then I think your late game, we'll look into like your late game decision making, late game play too. But like getting into a bad start for stupid reasons is something worth like looking at and like thinking about. Nice dodge. I think that shows your arrow. See, like, all your wards are just to stop this from happening. Like, every single ward here is for that purpose, and like, you still died twice. Like, I do want to like kind of stress that a little bit. So I think it is important.
Oh, Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Throwing down a remnant, going to heal up. Let's go look at the score screen real quick. Look at your skill build real fast. I don't think you should level your old past 1 unless you're playing really aggressive. It's not the biggest thing in the world. You got it at 6, 14, and 16. It's good that you didn't prioritize it over Slight, but I don't think you even need to get it here. Like, it's only an increase of 50 damage per level. And like the big part's the mobility, not the damage. Game's pretty even. You died 6 times. So you only have a 30 or deaths in. Which means you do play significantly better. But like I said, they will have like the hardest time killing you. Like every death is pretty much your fault. It's like once you have, I guess you could say once you have travels, you're basically unkillable, right? I think that'd be a pretty fair statement. Because you should be able to like see where they are. And even if you don't know where they are, if you're really quick on your remnants and you're kind of like map aware, then you shouldn't die. The only way they should have a problem is if they get ahead on the rest of your team, and then they're able to force you into an engagement where you can't just like wrap them. See, I'm always a fan of more interim items too. I see a lot of Embers that just don't even bother with it. I think it's probably a mistake. Like even just a wand or an Aquila or something. It just helps if you're trying to fight. And Aquila helps when you're trying to farm too. I guess if you have the
Radiant's
if you have the
top
bottle
tower is under attack.
and your ult and travels, then maybe that's not
Oh,
necessary.
Radiant's top tower is
It
under
always
attack.
feels weird not having all your slots used, in my opinion. Okay, so you're getting the Aquila
Radiant's
now.
top
I
tower
don't think
is
you could
under
ever say there's
attack.
something wrong with an Aquila. It's 18 damage, gives really good armor for such a low armor hero. Like you're low armor and low HP, and you build straight damage, not stats. So you'll never actually have high armor unless you know, specifically try and build towards it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's good. I mean, you're doing, from what I know, you're doing the correct skill build. Save that guy. One kill easy.
Hold on to your hat because now it's a mega kill.
Just TP out of there.
Radiant's middle tower is
That's
under
good.
attack.
Like, you should always try and abuse that, and that's something I think a lot of people don't do. Like, even some people I play with, like, I find myself yelling at them, like, understand, like, when you have the potential to TP out and fucking do it. Like, they only have, they have to hit a Mirana arrow, or somehow stone gaze you, which would be an interesting way to try and stun you out of a TP, since it's 3 seconds to effect, and I think it's 3 seconds to effect, right? If 2 second total time is accumulated while looking at Medusa. Oh no, it's 2. And your TP is 2.5 seconds, so they probably can't stone gaze and stop you from TPing in reaction to you TPing. It would require, like, way too fast reactions. So they either have to hit you with a hook, dismember, or run an arrow. That's the only way they stop you from TPing out. So it's good. Like, there you're able to just TP out really easily, which is really great.
They're going after Tyre's bottom tower.
This is good too. You're pushing out the wave purposely. I think it's good you have the Aquila on. You usually don't do that, and it's kind of silly. Your goal is to push right now. So whenever you want to push, have your Aquila on. So many people just leave it off by default. It's just really silly. Makes your creeps a lot tankier. And it's like an extra hit, I think, for all the melee creeps. I don't think it affects the range though. It might affect the range.
Looks like Tyre's structures are
I don't think it will.
fortified.
Brain spacing, I just woke up.
Under attack.
So I do apologize for that. Let's speed this up a little bit. This is... I think you should be kind of going a little harder and like farming right now. Like you should be abusing your travels to get to more farm. Like you could throw a remnant here and then travel over to here. Like no one's in this lane, you can get that push, you can try and take this tower, you can farm that camp, and then you can back up to here. Because you'd rather farm lane creeps than jungle creeps, particularly when you're early on. Like it takes you so long to kill that camp, it's pretty annoying. Like you want to be using the travels to farm aggressively. Like, that's the point of this. When you have Ember Spirit with travels, so you finally go bottom now. But I think you could have been here a while ago.
Killing spree. Whoa. They're going after Tyre's bottom tower.
Like the reason you get travels on Ember Spirit is because you can stack on like mobility and it lets you be like everywhere at once. Because you can throw down your remnant to a lane, travel to one, and then come back to it. So you can push. Let's say you're. This isn't great. Okay, let's say your bottom lane. You push that in, chuck a remnant over here, travel top, push this in, farm that camp, remnant back to here, farm out the woods, and push out the lane again. Like that's how you want to be farming, like really efficiently. And that's the purpose of the travels. And like if you're not getting really good farm because of the travels, then why do you have the travels? You might as well just get treads and fight. You stop moving. What are you doing? Are you under another dot here? I don't. Okay, we have to slow this down. Stop moving. Stop moving. Okay, that was just really stupid. One. You walk right into that hook. That is horrible. You get shallow graved here. If you stop walking right here, you might be able to live. You just lost your team that fight. Would you let them initiate that fight on you, and then died when your team like gave a lot to try and save you? This is a really stupid skill. You should have his shallow grave max. Like that was really problematic. I mean, like you said, you did have a rough early game, but like, that's something you have to be aware of. Like, why are you even gonna go middle? Like, let's even look at that decision to go middle there. Because like I'm gonna say that was probably wrong. Because I think we know they're posturing middle, right? And if they're sitting middle, then why even go there? Like, here's the thing. There's no farm in middle lane. Why are we going back here? Your goal with the travels, and you don't even have a Battle Fury, is to farm. Like, this isn't a fighting build. If you wanted to fight, you get like treads, drums, maybe like a fucking wand, and then you can go hard. You're building towards the Battle Fury and you have travels. Like, this is... Or even TP, but like, they've been posturing here forever, man. So you throw the Spirit down, that's why you come back here, I guess. But there's no reason for you to 4-man with your team right now. It's just silly. It's being inefficient on the map. Like, you come back here and walk right into a hook. There's no point. I would have even rather you walked through the woods like this, rather than TP back middle for no reason. It could even be worth it to walk up here, push that in, and then travel somewhere, whether it's mid or bottom to farm. Like, your team is for middle. Like, I would tell my team, please don't do that. You just, like, the thing with a Pudge is, like, 4-manning middle, it's just waiting for the Pudge to hit a hook and start their team fight with one free pickoff. And in this case, it was on you, which is really bad. So this is just a really poor decision on your part to go back middle. I noticed you spent a lot of time middle. I don't know if that's because you started mid lane or because you love the mid lane. I don't know the reason behind it, but it's a horrible idea. Mid is the most annoying lane to farm because you can't push this really far. You're only going to push it to wherever their tower is. And like, hypothetically, we can just watch this. It doesn't matter. We already... Okay. So like, even if this tower is dead, you're probably only going to farm a wave out to here, right? Going to here would be way too bold, and then there's no other real camps nearby apart from these two or the Ancients or this. And like right now you can't farm Ancients. Your team could be using these camps. If you farm this, you're going to be more comfortable pushing that all the way up to here because you know where people are. And then you can come back into your woods, which is a nice safe place to farm. And then you can also go top, and you have these two camps. Yeah, you're only gonna... Like, this is another lane. Like, if this tower was dead, I'd feel pretty comfortable farming to here. Maybe even to here. Like, depending on what the map tells me. Here is just... Like, if I'm ever here, like, I need my team fucking behind me. And to know, like, nothing shifty's happening. And you should never be comfortable, like, going past here just for the purpose of farming, right? While in the other lanes you can. They just have so many ways to get to you from here. They can go there, straight in front of you. And, like, realistically, you're not going to have all of this covered, right? Unless you're completely dominating their game, but if you're dominating them, then this tower should be dead too. Because, like, hypothetically, you should be dark from there. Like, let's say if this tower, this T1's dead, we'll assume all their tier 1s are dead, you're still dark from there, which means you can't see them approaching from this angle, approaching from that angle. They have blink daggers, they can jump through the tree line at you. There's just so many angles of approach here that it's never worth farming, because that means, like, you're gonna get here, you farm one tower, and then you go back over to here. And that's it. So you're gonna get one creep wave back over to here. Never worth being there to farm. That's also why I'd prefer to go safe lane. If you're trying to farm efficiently, safe lane's where you want to be. Because like right now you're only at 5 creeps a minute, and I think you had, I might be misremembering. I think you had like 60 at like 12 minutes or so, which is like, it's okay. That's not good. If you have 60, 70 creeps at like 10 minutes from mid lane, you're doing pretty well. 12 minutes, it's 2 minutes later. Like, your farm should be increasing as time goes on until you hit, like, a critical point. And, like, right now your farm hasn't increased. You're just sitting at 5 creeps a minute. You're just farming very slow, and you're not using the travels properly. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, the whole point in having Boots of Travel is to allow you to farm efficiently before the Battle Fury, and be really annoying because Ember can be in so many places with the travels and Remnant. It's really hard for the enemy team to predict where you are, because like, let's say I'm another hero, like if you throw down a Remnant here and you travel to top lane, throw down a Remnant here, travel to top lane, if any other hero did that who didn't have Remnants, you could assume that they're going to be in top lane for that 45 seconds where their travels are up, right? Like, they're probably going to be in this area somewhere. Ember could farm out these two camps, and then Remnant there in like 10-15 seconds. We'll say like, yeah, about 15 seconds. You could feasibly farm out the lane in 1 or 2 camps at different points in the game. And like that's the threat that the travels are supposed to perform, where you can be pretty much everywhere at once. Like think about like a Morphling replicate. You can do the same thing with Morphling, and you can justify it the same way with his travels. Because with a replicate and travels, Morphling can be pretty much everywhere. Which I don't think is as common of a build, because remnants are much more reliable. Like you need a hero nearby to use your remnant or your replicate on Morphling. But same concept. Like if you can be everywhere and farm everywhere at once, it's great. But it's something you need to be utilizing. If you're not utilizing it, then you're just getting it for the sake of getting it. If you're trying to fight, you still don't have a Battle Fury. You can still contribute though a little bit. No vision's pretty awkward. You live here? I think you'll live here. That's good. I think you should have thrown down a remnant there first to get back. You had 2 remnants left. Yeah, you should have thrown down a remnant to get back. The fight went well. I mean, like, I'd say I even tend to err on the side of caution, maybe a little too much. Because I probably wouldn't have bothered taking that fight. My team, like, we're behind right now. I'd say take some defensive fights while I get, like, at least a Battle Fury. But, like, if they're willing to overextend, then go on it. See, that's great. Like, that's what should be happening every time he tries to hook you. You just remnant it. I think... See, I'm not sure. I know this is, like, instant cast. If he hooks you and cues it right into Dismember, I think the Dismember starts before you finish moving with the hook. Nice. I think he might be able to prevent you from remnanting, but I'm not 100%. So yeah, once again, I think we're gonna end up going back midline. See, like here, like there's only so much you can farm here. Look, you slight their whole team, walk almost into a hook. You see how scary that was? I don't know if you appreciate that. You walked into, you already saw 3 heroes because you're like, I need creeps. You walk into 3 heroes, slight and walk away, and almost need a hook. That is some scary shit.
Oh jeez, it's a killing spree! Double kill.
Like, and you're trying to fight here. And I'm not gonna say it's wrong because it looks like it's working out. But like, you could have been to that fight without starting it by doing that really aggressive farming thing, and it worked out. But just because something works out, I don't want you to ingrain in your head that it's necessarily a good idea. Oh, we didn't end up getting an Aquila. Okay, whatever. See, I'm not even sure where you'd fit it in. As before, after the travels? I would think it's before. But then, are you delaying your travels for too long? These are things where if I played the hero, I'd know the answer. But I don't play the hero, so I don't know the answer. Like, this is something I've been playing with, like, Faceless Void, like, when to fit travels into my build if I'm safe planning Void. And I'm still trying it, like, both ways. Like, is it worth going Ground Boots travels? Is it worth going Treads and then travels a little later? It's weird. Those are dumb things I think about. But, like, you have a Battle Fury now, and you're going for a crit. Okay, that's good. You need to, okay, you need to be really careful near the Bloodseeker. If he saved his blood right, you were dead there. Because all you need to do is save his blood right. God, that is not what that silence is called, is it? I think it is. Yeah, it is. If he saved his blood right for when that Pudge hooked you, you were dead there. And that was like a misplay. If you see the Bloodseeker, just fucking leave. Particularly if you're in aggressive posture. Like, Bloodseeker himself isn't going to kill you until he has like a Basher or an Abyssal. So that's not really the problem. The problem is that if you're near him for too long and then something stuns you, you take an arrow, you take a Pudge thing, like, you don't have vision in their woods here. Like, you don't have vision, so you don't know when that Pudge hook is coming or when the Mirana ult into Dismember shit's coming. Like, you don't know when that shit's coming. And, like, that's an easy way for you to die. So this is what you want to be doing. Like, you see 2 people here. 3? You see 3 here. Like, you have an eye on the Pudge. If you have an eye on the Pudge, don't be scared. You saw 1 top. So your team can take this fight. Like, you see 2 top, you want to take this fight. Your team's at a really big advantage right now. As long as you have fucking vision, which you guys don't. Pretty sure it's a Moonlight Shadow, right?
Oh, Radiant's middle tower is under
am I
attack.
wrong? I don't know how that Pudge got out if that wasn't Moonlight Shadow. I don't really care enough to look, though. I don't think it's that important. But yeah, like right now, you're just crossing the 5 creeps per minute threshold. This is way too late to be crossing 5 creeps a minute. Like, I believe with your Flame Guard and like an okay lane, and like Searing Chains abuse with like travels or something, you should be able to. I would imagine you can probably get it like you could probably be at like 7, 8 creeps a minute probably before your Battle Fury. I don't think it would be too unreasonable. Like I said, I don't play the hero, so I'm speaking mostly from the one fucking game I played, honestly, and from like stuff I've seen other people do. I didn't even do a build like this, and I think I had more creeps than you at this point. And I was in like a 1v1 versus a Tide Hunter, which is fucking miserable. And I don't say it to like brag like, oh, I'm so good, you're bad. It's not meant to come off like that. I'm sorry if it does. What I really mean is that it's technically possible from a worse farming build and a worse laning situation. Because I think I even died like 2 or 3 times in laning phase. Oh, well, we're gonna pause and look at this. I want to see if I'm talking out my ass right now, because I might be. Keep in mind, like I said, I'm not a good Ember Spirit. All my deaths came early on in this game. Look at a little farm graph. Okay, so I had the same creeps as you at 30 minutes after like a really shitty start. But I didn't have a Battle Fury. I did this, like, my justification here was, and I don't know if it's good, like I said, I never played the hero. I mainly did it because I thought it'd be funny. I got a Lincoln, Scotty, and a Maelstrom. So you Maelstrom proc with your slights, and then I'm just super tanky. Because there's a Ricky, like, I don't want to go Battle Fury against a Ricky and a Doom. It sounded shitty. There's just too many things that can blow you up then. So yeah, I'm kind of wrong. But I don't think I was playing well at all. Like, that's another thing. I don't think I was playing well. So another thing worth considering is, I know you don't get it in this game. Ooh, that was close. You gotta watch your TPs, because if you fail TP on that costs you a lot. Like, you're gonna get this tower right now, I would think. So you push them back. I imagine you should get this tower. You also didn't throw a remnant, so this is a little more scary than it needed to be. Oh, you did a remnant. I'm sorry. You didn't throw one when you got in, so I assumed you didn't throw one. What was I saying? Shit. Oh, like if you failed TP on that, you wouldn't have done anywhere near as much damage. I think you took like 1,000. That was like a full HP tower. I don't care about this fight. There's a full HP tower you brought to like 10%. If you failed TP there, you wouldn't have done it. That means next time you go there, that tower is like a free kill. I think they even glyphed it. This is good fighting here. Then you travel right back up here, and this is really smart because your team's gonna get a tower. Hopefully they can take fucking middle here. Having middle up this long is really fucking annoying. Because it like limits your knowledge of where they are too much. And your team doesn't really push well, which is unfortunate. Which means when you take, like let's say even if you win a fight early on against this team, it's hard for you to kill the tower quickly enough. That's another one. That was on that range creep. Unless I missaw it, that was on that 10 HP range creep. Bold individual. You saucy niglet. Yeah, so I was like, oh, you should get a TP here. Oh man, it's morning stupidity syndrome. See, like, I don't know if I'd say you need to blink here. Like, the thing is, like, I don't really fully grasp like what the blink is for in this hero. And I don't know how it feels because I don't play the hero. Like, it's another thing where like if I played the hero, I'd have more to contribute here. Like, as is a blink dagger game, you can dodge the hooks and you can dodge arrows, which are like your biggest problem. It would probably let you play much more aggressively, particularly against their lineup. Like, it's really hard for them to get kills on you already. I think a blink dagger would compound that. And like, it's one of those things where it's like kind of unintuitive because it's like, well, I'm an Ember Spirit. Why would I take a $2,000 0 damage item over like another Daedalus or something? And that's where I can't tell you exactly why. I know like the increased mobility is really good, and it lets you use your damage items more aggressively. And I imagine that's the rationale, justification, whatever. See, this is good too. Put out a remnant, farm here. You could have farmed that next wave too, pretty safe. Like I said, this is only scary once you cross the river. Before that, you can farm middle. It's also annoying because they have a Mirana, so you never know when they're just gonna Mirana ult on you. We found the thing. Cool. I'd say you want to push this farther here. I wouldn't be too scared. You saw... I think you saw the Pudge bottom. Oh, you see the Pudge over there. You should have your whole team move at this Pudge right now. Like, you can't let him posture like that. That's fucking retarded. This should be a damn good team fight for you guys. Or they're not gonna have detection. Does no one fucking have detection? Oh. Oh, yeah, it does. The fight would have went so much better if you guys just had detection from the get-go. I'm pretty sure that dust wasn't fast enough. The thing is, like, these fights are drawing too much. Like, your team needs to be winning the fights pretty strongly right now so that you can force objectives. Because, like, you really want to get an Aegis and let you go fucking ham. And you need to have your lanes pushed out so you can take Roshan or win a fight very convincingly. Like, you just haven't done that, which makes it really awkward. Good job pushing a little bit here. It's good too.
Oh man, Tiger's bottom tower's denied.
Second day of this. I think you get a rapier after this. And like, I think it comes down to like how desperate in the game are you.
Middle tower's under attack.
Like, your team has been kind of winning fights, and this Deuce has been dying. I think she died in the last 2 fights. No, that's a lie. Okay, she's poor as shit though. She doesn't know how to itemize either. That's no farm on a Deuce. Those are terrible items. She can't crit with her other fucking clicks. So. I fucking I never don't crit though. Could you fight this? Good job. Nice. Okay, this is huge. That was a fucking great fight for you. But like, all your lanes are pushed in right now, which is awkward. I'm watching it at accelerated speed, so it's hard for me to like judge certain things. But I'd say that fight was actually going on for a while, so maybe it's just not unlucky that all your lanes are pushed. But your farm is definitely like increased substantially. You're not at 10 creeps a minute, and I think you normally should be at this point. But even if we look 15 minutes ago, you're only at 5, and you're almost at 10 now. Which means you've probably been farming at about 15 creeps a minute or so since then. But like, you need to. The thing is, like, you can win a fight, but if all your lanes aren't pushed, it's really hard to take an objective. I think after you won that, you were also pretty low HP. I think you should have pushed in middle. I think you should have pushed in middle and then TP'd home and then relic'd back. Or revenanted back. Oh, get him. Get him. Got him. I don't think you even need to go home. I mean, you've got plenty of sustain here. Okay, cool. See, I wouldn't feel like right now, I don't think you're in a desperate situation. I think you're just going to go for the rapier right now. Like, your team is winning. And even on Ember Spirit, where rapier is just generally good, unless you're feeling super desperate, I wouldn't suggest getting it. Like, look at that. See even eggs? So with a scepter, if he ults Sedusa, he removes 70% of her mana. Without that, I think he removes 25%. So like, you have the potential to like still kill them, and I wouldn't be that scared. I mean, it's not the most comfortable late game situation, but like now you've just gotten a rapier, and you're just committing now on like winning. Like, I don't know. I shouldn't say you're committing on winning. I don't know. I don't feel like that's the correct way to phrase that. Now it's like, shit, if you die, you're in trouble. And like, you've been playing well now. Oh, and you have a DD rune? Holy shit. Your team should be forcing this fucking fight with your DD rune. Like, when you get that rapier, I guess you felt you were in a bad situation. I wouldn't have agreed. I would say like the MKB probably would have been an okay choice. It's got a radiance. She's still really poor. Like, I guess you could say like you don't want to wait until she gets bigger. Like, you want to end the game now. Like, you could argue that, and I wouldn't think it's a terrible argument. But like, I think you're well off the threshold. Like, she needs legitimately, at the rate she's going right now, she's like half slotted. It would take her 70, 80 minutes to get where she fucking needs to be, unless she kills you and takes your rapier. And like, that's another thing. She is an amazing rapier carrier. She is really good at it. She's a really good rapier carrier. Bloodseeker's okay. Mirana's okay. Like, she's probably the best rapier carrier in the game, up there with you. Probably better than you. And you're I'd say it's like her than you than like Wraith King or something. I like it. Gotta mindfuck him. See, like, dropping your rapier is a 12k gold swing. Well, looks like the pudge might be right here. Let's see. Let's pause here for a second. I want to take an assessment of things. Oh, I feel like this is where things are gonna go awry. We're not gonna pause. We're gonna see this through to the fucking end. That was a really poor Lena. That's unfortunate. Missed a slight there. I think you could have changed and interrupt that guy. Your Rubik's dead. You probably just want to leave here. This fight is just beyond over. If you get hooked here, you're dead. Like, you have to acknowledge that this fight's over. This is where you're gonna lose a rapier. Maybe not. God, look at that. Deuce with a crit. Critted you for 291. What a shithead. Okay, you are sticking around. You're playing a little too bold with a rapier here. And I'm gonna quote myself from, I guess, 45 minutes ago in the game time. The only real way you die. Does he really take the rapier too? What a fucking idiot. The Medusa's right there. I assume there was a situation where the Medusa couldn't take the rapier. One of the best rapier carriers in Dota. It'll accelerate her farm. Watch this gold swing. Oh, this gold swing's gonna disgust you. Anyway. Anywho. What was I saying? Oh. You're playing way too bold with a fucking rapier. Like, you bought the rapier, you need to play super safe. One, that fight started off horribly. You should be willing to just get the fuck out. They omni-ulted, there's nothing you can do through the omni-ult. It negates all your fucking damage while that shit's up. You backed away, good. You came here and you farmed that when you know they're all right here and your whole team's dead. And then predictable things take place. That was really bad. That's just poor. That's just really poor late game decision making. Like, there's a time where you can take risks like that, and it's not when you have a rapier and you're your team's like only way to win. Like, I guess it's a juicy amount of creeps. Barely ducked out of that arrow too. Blink, dismember, silence, dead. That is just shitty. See, like, my favorite part about this is, like, I don't like this item build at all. But if she picked up a rapier, a Mjolnir Scotty is pretty fucking good. Because, like, she just doesn't have damage at all with those two items. But if she took a rapier, she'd most certainly have some fucking damage. Right back. Yeah, I mean, that gold swing's not as bad as I thought it would be. That might not be showing it correctly. I know there's two gold graphs. That was a dieback. Do they not end the game here? I mean, your team is, like, without you, your team is behind so much in net worth. They're all so fucking poor. Alina's just destitute. That's her not knowing how to flash farm. Lena's a hero that flash farms, and she doesn't flash farm, and she's died too much.
I didn't think Radiant's bottom barracks would go that quick. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Again, it begs the question of why doesn't the Deuce have the rapier?
Oh, Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower just got wrecked.
People in this game are stupid. They could have just went to end it while you're dead. I don't know why they didn't. Or they just back up here? Do they somehow lose this fight in 20 seconds? I know you buy it. Oh no, you don't. No, he buys a rapier. Okay, no, that's what I'm getting confused about. All right, you're gonna. All right, we'll just do a recap now. I was thinking you bought a second rapier, but clearly that does not happen. I was getting the Dota buff thing confused in my mind. Anywho, so we'll go over this real quick. So, quick thing, I'd say your team's choices in laning probably wasn't the best. Conceptually, I think you should have had safe lane farm. It was a dual lane, so maybe you could say that going mid worked out better. Whatever. We digress from that. Your lane, I'd say, should have been mid and should have beat on that pudge with some nice rotations. And you should have had safe lane farm, which I think would have went better. Second thing, your team had wards up for you. Like, they dedicated so much ward coverage to protecting you from Mirana arrows. This is really annoying. Okay, so they dedicated like a ward here, and like later there's a third ward. Where the fuck was? I want to say it was like here or here. I don't remember. There's a third ward though. That was like fucking incredibly defensive for 12 minutes in. Anyway, they were all dedicated to like making you not die middle, and you died twice. I know you said you had a rocky start, but I want to stress like how big of an issue dying those times here was, considering how much your team put vision-wise into preventing you from eating those arrows. So one of them was just you eating an arrow. The other one was you making a poor decision and going up here to try and... I can't even say save your Bane, because your Bane had already saved himself. I guess he might have died anyway, because he walked this way. Like, he might have died anyway, he might have gotten out, whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, it's a Bane, and you're the Ember. You're your team's only real core, you could argue. I guess you could throw Lina. I guess Lina's a core. I shouldn't say you're the only core. So it's just you and Lina. It's not worth treating your Bane, who's just... His sole purpose is really to, like, lock people down. I like his Lincolns. I think he's building the Lincolns for you, and I think it's actually really good. Like I said, the only thing that kills you is that, or an Abyssal Blade, which is good to not build. So the Lincolns would be really good. So we have those two things. That's for your early game. I also think you didn't farm efficiently. You came back to mid lane way too frequently. As I was talking about, this is not a place you want to farm. This is the lane of least farming efficiency right here. Because your jungle, you can really only easily access these two camps, and I guess you could say these are kind of easy to access. But like lane creeps are where you get a huge amount of farm, and like you're only gonna get like 1 or 2 creep waves here. Because like I said, crossing this threshold like right here, it's fucking scary as shit. Even crossing the river is scary. Going like anywhere near that, or anywhere past the river is pretty scary. While like in the side lanes, like situationally up to here and up to here are like totally fine. And you'll feel safe doing it. Your team was winning too. Like you guys brought it back. You were down like quite a little bit. This is where you purchased the rapier. That's where you lost the rapier. Like, your team was winning pretty well, and then you decided to purchase a rapier. I mean, I can almost understand the justification for it, but you have to play safer. Like, your team started this fight here, got picked off. Like, immediately the Rubik died to the Pudge, which is really bad. So the Rubik dies to the Pudge. Their Mirana ulted. I don't remember what your vision situation was. They Omni ult, which means you're not going to do damage for fucking 10 seconds. You just leave. You should just leave there. You got really greedy and chose to farm here with your rapier, and you got Blink Pudge ulted into Blood Riot and you died. I mean, that's Dota, right? This guy's a fucking idiot for buying the second rapier. I guess they end the game before you're up, probably, right? On the off chance, like, you guys somehow hold this, if you got the 2 rapiers, they would be scared. Like, you also got a rapier against a really good natural rapier carrier, meaning if you throw it, if this guy wasn't a moron, this Medusa would have a rapier right now. God, you see how shitty this build is? That build is terrible. Absolute garbage. She can't crit on her split shots. Makes me sad. Did I address the Guardian Greaves issues enough? Okay, so not Greaves, Travels. Oh my god. Oh, too early in the morning. Yeah, so you came back mid way too much, like when your team was posturing and you ate that hook and got pulled in and then ran while ruptured and died, which you should feel very bad about, by the way. Um, you could have been farming bottom and top lane, and then using your travels to come back in. Even if it means you have to walk to one of these lanes because you had your remnant up, it's still worth it. Like you want to be farming efficiently, not posturing middle and getting one creep wave every so often. Because like you being there means you're taking the farm from the lane. Like they want a 4-man there and prevent the enemy team from taking the tower. Could be good, could be bad. I advise doing it against a Pudge, but you know that's their prerogative. I don't give a shit. But like you being there means the Lina can't farm those creep waves, and the Lina needs farm too. So you being there as 5 means you and the Lina are now splitting farm. Whoever's getting it, whatever. You could be other places and farming more efficiently. Like you want to use the map efficiently and get tons of farm, particularly if you're a flash farming hero like an Ember Spirit. Because we didn't even cross 10 creeps a minute this game, which I don't think should be super hard for an Ember Spirit with Battle Furies and travels. Like it should not be difficult. So yeah, make sure you're farming more greedy and aggressively in the side lanes, and not just sitting in mid all the time, even if you did start out mid. I don't know if that's something you do regularly, or it's because you're in the mid lane, but don't be scared to go other places, particularly when there's no contention here. And like, another thing to think about, like, if you're sitting there as 5, the enemy team doesn't have to worry about anything. If you're pushing side lanes and you're pushing objectives, they have to send someone to respond to you, which will give your team the 4-on-4 fight they might want, or it'll just waste that person's time. Or if they don't respond to you, then you get a tower. Or another option is this team forces their engagement, maybe with a Mirana ult into like a smoke or something, or a Mirana ult on top of a ward. Maybe they do something stupid like that because they really want to start this fight before your split push can become problematic. Like, and that's something really key you have to understand, that when you're split pushing, you're forcing the enemy team to decide whether or not they have to deal with you. If you're not split pushing, then they don't have to deal with you, and it creates no decision they have to make. If you cannot win now, you won't win. I mean, I'd say Bloodseeker is on par in carrying potential with Alina. And, I mean, it's a fucking Deuce. She's probably the hardest carry in Dota. But, like, situationally, I guess Ember could go toe-to-toe with her. I think the Omni Knight's honestly the biggest problem. Omni Guardian Angel just makes you not do anything for 10 seconds, which is just, like, a bit too much for you to deal with in conjunction with a Deuce. But, like, this Deuce is poor as shit, too. Like, you're twice her fucking net worth right now, which is disgusting. But yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have seen a Blink before the Divine, maybe. Because you might have been able to push the envelope a little more in fights. Like, you weren't having problems killing people, so why are you getting a Rapier, right? Like, your biggest issue that's going to stop you from killing people is Mirana ult and Omni ult. It's the fight of destiny. Like, those 2 ults are going to prevent you from killing people, and a Rapier is not going to prevent either of those. Or it's not going to help you with, like, either of those. That is so bold. So bold, so crazy. I don't know if you knew that arrow was coming, but you barely missed getting hit by it too. Anyway, we've already watched all this, so yeah. Better late game decision making. That was horrible. This whole fight, like every decision here was bad. Trying to take the fight after Rubik got picked off was bad. Trying to take it uphill was bad. Sticking around after Omni ult was bad. Like, I would rather you just immediately traveled top and started split pushing. As soon as you realized that fight was going south, you start split pushing. Because, like, with your Rapier, you can kill this tower pretty quickly. Instead, you die here and lose the game. Because you could have, like, remnanted up there and then TP top. Wait, whoa. Can I do things? Oh, summon free camera. Derp. So yeah, that was just bad late game. So we'll just recap real quick again, since I kind of zoned out and was just looking at random shit for a minute there. 1, choose your lanes a little better. 2, if your team's dedicating that much envision to you, you need to not die ever. Obviously lapses happen, you took a Mirana arrow, not the biggest deal. This death up here, unacceptable completely. You should have just not done it. It was to save a Bane who was already probably saved, and then you died for it. Very silly. I think your itemization was probably fine. Like I said, I'm not a great Ember Spirit. I think interim items are good, but maybe it's the exception to that rule.
that's not good.
God, I do not want to hear Rick and Morty shouting at me in fast speeds right now. Farming more efficiently at the side lanes early on, not 5-manning a lane for no reason. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. Like, if you're trying to farm efficiency, that's something that's going to keep you back. Like, just 5-manning for no reason on Split Push here. Like, if I'm an anti-mage and I show up somewhere, I'm like, team, what are we doing here? And they're like, oh, I don't know, maybe we'll smoke. And I'm like, I'm not going to be here for this, goodbye. And I just leave and start farming again. Like, if I'm sitting somewhere not doing anything for, like, more than, like, 5 seconds, there's a fucking problem. And you just, like, shouldn't be doing that. God, that dies so quickly. And then obviously the late game decision making. Whether or not you need to buy a rapier, I think is debatable. I don't think you were having problems winning fights or doing damage. I think you were doing fine. And then your usage of the rapier, you threw it immediately. So I hope that helps. Like I said, I'm not even remotely the best Ember Spirit player in the world. I am terrible at him. But I think there were some just core fundamentals there that you had an issue with, particularly like late game decision making and early game farming. So if you try and improve on those things, I think you'll do great. All right, best of luck. Feel free to send me more replays, whatever you want to do.